Good morning. If you are watching the recording, welcome, welcome. Let me get my life set up here. Come on. There's always like the moving my video, getting the chat up, things like that. Moving that around and then getting some stuff up here and running. So let me send the link to our team. We're talking about overcoming a plateau today. See if anybody can join. Otherwise, I will share and make it nice and short and sweet just for the ability to save this recording. So if you don't know anything about me, I've had a pretty significant weight loss journey. I was in the military and gained a lot of weight. And so I had to lose all that after having my second child. Here comes Angela. Just connecting to her audio. Good morning. We're just waiting a couple minutes while everybody gets on. And even if it's a small crowd today, we'll talk through everything and get it all up and running on our YouTube.
Hello.
Hello. How is wrestling season going?
Well, it's over.
All right. Is that a good thing or bad thing?
I don't know.
Oh.
It's gonna make me cry.
Oh.
I mean, it's a good thing because thank God our stress is like to a lesser amount. But now I gotta deal with trying to get him into a college, and
Oh.
so that's just a whole nother level.
Yep. One thing goes on to the next.
Yeah.
Oh, you're upside down.
Interesting. How did that happen? What is going on?
I don't know. We always seem to have the funniest problems with videos and stuff on our calls. So
I'm gonna pop out and pop back in and see if it does.
sounds good. Yeah. I can buy myself flowers. Right. So we've got talking about collagen, which actually doesn't really have much to do with overcoming plateaus, but we will be starting nonetheless. See if she's upside down this time. No, still upside down. What device are you using?
I'm using my computer.
That is so weird. It has to be some sort of like display or something. I feel like I keep struggling with different computer malfunction type things. Like at my work, there's two monitors and I can't get it to do 1, 2, 3. It just keeps showing up 1 and 2, which is really distracting because they're both the same. And I'm just not computer savvy enough to like, I feel like I check the settings that I know and oh, there you go. Yay, you figured it out. It would probably take me like 20 minutes to figure it out. So, okay, let's pop over to, does anybody have any wins this week? Lisa's joining us from the freezing cold tundra up there. see. We came back from our vacation, and so this week is just settling back into the groove for us. So getting the kids back into school and getting back to the work grind. I had like 96 work emails, so
Oh my gosh.
looking through those. But no worries, Lisa.
Was your trip awesome?
It was really good. We definitely enjoyed the cruise, like, and everything that comes with the cruise. I feel like we will do more in the future, but like we're not like cruise people.
Hmm.
So there's definitely like cruise people that are all about it. They go all out. They just always hop on them. But I think that these ports in particular, we're fine to do 1 day excursions on, but like there's so many places in this world that I want to spend like time. And so when it comes to cruises, like I'm not going to cruise to places that I want to really spend time at. So there's some places that we would like Alaska would be a really cool place to cruise because there's so much to see up there, and like we could stop by and see all the stuff that we can on the cruise, and then from there kind of decide where we want to go up to spend more time.
Hmm.
And I think it gets expensive if you want to like fly to everywhere in Alaska. So
Yeah, I've heard cruises are good for, yeah, Alaska's a good one.
Mhm. Have you ever been on a cruise?
Yeah, I've just done like a little, like a short one,
Mhm.
and just with my husband, and it was okay. Like,
Yeah.
again, we weren't like, oh my gosh, I want to go on another cruise. I like to have a little more freedom.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was okay.
So we watched on Disney Plus last night the making of the Disney Wish, which is the newest cruise line that they made. And like it was fascinating watching how they put that ship together. And that cruise looks incredible. But of course, I'm over here like researching like how much does this thing cost? And so for like a 3 or 4 day, it was double what we paid for a Royal Caribbean week. And so that's not including any meal packages or any additional costs or anything. And that was just a 4 day. So you go from Cape Canaveral or Port Canaveral to their private island in the Bahamas that Disney owns and back. And so we were like, well, maybe 1 day. But the kids were like, I want to go on that one. And I'm like, me too. That looks pretty awesome. But mommy needs to work a little harder.
Yeah, really.
So yeah, it was good though. Um, yeah. So now we're waiting for official orders to move. So we have orders in hand, but they're for the location that we're swapping with somebody. And so we're like 99% sure that the swap will go through without any problems. And so we will hopefully have like a more definitive answer in the next couple weeks so we can start working on planning. And so all of the rest of our like everything halts after the summer. Like I have no plans after the summer because I have no idea exactly like what coast I'm going to be on. And so if we go to Georgia, which is the 99% one, then we have access to all of the East Coast stuff. And we want to, hop over to Spain. We have some friends moving to Spain. And that's just a completely different lifestyle than if we went to Washington, which would be Alaska, Vancouver, Canada, Oregon, all that stuff. So we still just wait until we have.
Right.
Did you guys decide if you're going to come to look at the college in California, in Riverside?
I don't know. I don't really know what's going on. I mean, he got fourth place, so now we're kind of waiting. I'm waiting on his club coach, who's right now in Egypt. It's like to talk to him. I haven't gotten a hold of his phone, so I can look if any coaches have texted him because he's kind of, I don't know. So we're waiting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like my fear, because we've lived so many places, is that, our kids, like they could go anywhere, like they could have a best friend that they've made in the military and want to go to college somewhere wild. And I don't know, Miranda's not like super ambitious with anything, so I don't even know what she's going to want to do yet. So I don't know that either one of the kids will want to join the military, but all of that stuff, I'm just like, I'm glad we're not there yet because
Oh,
it's a lot.
it's horrible, actually.
Oh,
Oh,
well, hopefully everything just rolls out and makes sense and something just dings aha and it's super simple and easy. Like visualize all of the good things. Like
I know.
I'm watching this lady on TikTok that does a lot of like brain training and she's amazing. She shows like all this really cool stuff, but like she was talking about a surgery in particular. She was super terrified about the surgery. And so every day she visualized it going super well, like looking at the nurses before and after and like laughing and like all of this great stuff. And she just pictured it every day going so well. And it did. I mean,
Mhm.
it went as good as she could expect. And so, um, the power of that visualization. And I was talking to Molly about it a little bit. Because for her in particular, she's very much leans on prayer and stuff like that, and I love that. And I think praying can sometimes come out as like asking, please help everything go well, when instead you can say, this is what I'm seeing, how it going well, and of course, like, ask and you shall receive type thing.
Mhm.
It's more of a different way of prayer and looking at things where you're like,
Right,
this is what feels good to me. Of course, we can only control our own actions, but
right.
yay. So I have a few people in mind that I was going to talk to about coming on and being our leader spotlights. And it's just a matter of finding the time. I had caught up on a few things while I was on the cruise, but there's a few leaders out there that I know would come on and share their story for our leader spotlight. But do you have any of your clients or anybody that you can kind of give the background on a plateau that maybe they broke through that you were able to kind of help them navigate? Anybody come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, because I'm in, we have a gym, we have a lot of people that have that.
Mm,
Um, I mean, yeah, I have like a ton that I
yeah.
deal with. Um, and I think a lot of the things, there's a lot of similar like attributes to people that go through plateaus,
Mm,
especially, people that have big weight loss or that are like have a lot of weight to lose. Um, and my thing is always, I mean, and this is pretty much how I am with everyone, whether you have a lot of weight to lose or not, it is so about consistency and
yeah.
staying consistent. People are like, oh my gosh, well, what do you do? Well, I mean, it's not very exciting because it is the same
Mhm.
thing every single day, every single week.
Yeah.
Um, so, it's not rocket science, it's just staying consistent with whatever works.
Yep.
And then again, like you can pop off of that a little, but then coming right back. So that's one thing. Um, I would say one of the biggest things with hitting a plateau is to stay positive.
Mhm.
So many people get so upset over it, and it's gonna happen. It's,
Yep.
you're losing, oh, I lost 5 pounds this week, and then the 2 pounds this week, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't lose any weight this week. It's like, okay. And then maybe the next week, oh my gosh, I didn't lose any weight, or maybe I gained a pound. It's like, that's okay. Like, but the stress, being so stressed about it and getting so negative about it is so detrimental to the process because of the increased cortisol, the increased inflammation. I mean, we all know this, but it's hard for them to understand it. So really getting that message across to
Mhm.
stay positive because it's going to happen. And then doing things like, you gotta like look at that consistency. Like, what are the habits, reevaluate like really what you're doing. Because I have this one in particular, she gets to the 20-pound mark, and then it's like, I'm hearing from her father, oh, well, you should have saw what she had at dinner. She's eating potatoes again. And she's going back, reverting back to those old ways. And it's just like, rein it in. So like reevaluating the habits. And then some of the things like obviously increasing your protein. A big one for people that are not like on my program or anything is like the fasting is huge. I mean, or doing a double cleanse day will help break that plateau. Um, but a lot of it is when you're hitting that plateau, reevaluating what you're doing, especially if you're working out a lot. You know, you could be increasing a lot of muscle. So then that might, decrease your weight loss that you're seeing on the scale. So
Yeah. No, I bet that's so. I love how you bring it up, like the staying positive, because it can feel so discouraging when you're, using the scale, particularly for, watching what's happening. And it's so easy to kind of fall back into, the old routines, or when you see that plateau to try to completely change everything. And you're like, well, I'm stuck here, so I might as well completely try a whole new thing, which is why people will, be great with, our program for a couple months, and then they plateau, and then they're like, oh, I'm going to go use another system instead. And so it really is about that consistency and making some minor changes, like increasing your protein, or, maybe working on something that, like really evaluating like what's going on. Can your gut health be improved? Can you improve your sleep? Can you work on something else? And so it's not really changing so much like what you're putting in your body, or, like completely
you're frozen.
reshaping. Oh, darn it.
Well, and just while she's frozen, I absolutely hate the scale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
And so I try to keep people off the scale, especially with our program, because I feel like with the cleansing and the fasting, you're increasing your human growth hormone. We're having a lot more of loss of inches as opposed to weight sometimes, especially when we start getting that weight off, more of that weight off. And so it's like, stay off the scale, and you get these people that are wanting to weigh themselves like multiple times a day. So just teaching them that, yeah, your weight's going to fluctuate all day long. It'll be different every day, and that's okay. But, really
Our
trying to
scale,
get them
yeah,
to see what their body feels
Mhm.
and get them much more in tune with their body, I think is another important thing.
I'm trying to pull up this image, and that's what's, I think, making me freeze, because my album seems to be having an issue today. But it really shows, like, if you're watching the scale, like how much you can change and how your body may be shrinking, but it doesn't mean that the scale is going to reflect that. And so there's other ways to measure, because if you're not measuring, you have no reference point. Like, so for some people, it's measuring how you feel, how are you waking up every day? How is your energy every day? How are you presenting, and all of these things. Sometimes it's how your clothes fit. If you want to measure your body, you can do that. There's plenty of space that you can be measuring and seeing if change is happening. And of course, like if you're going to the gym, you can measure how much are you lifting, how fast are you running, things like that. But making sure that you're not picking on things that are going to make you feel bad if you're not hitting that goal. Because I was getting ready to post something today on Facebook, and then the kids distracted me, so I have to go back to it later. But for women, like, we have, especially when you're in your cyclic years, we have different times of the month where we have different blood flow. And so during certain times of that blood flow, you can actually lift more and you tend to be stronger. And men have a cyclic testosterone as well, which can do that. So if you're in the gym and you're like, oh my gosh, I used to be able to pull this much and now I'm struggling today, it could just be your daily balance, where you're at. And so not using a measurable tool like that will make you feel bad if you're not constantly progressing. You have to give it time and not have that like microwave ding, I better be ripped tomorrow type thought process about it. But I don't know where that one image is, but I was trying to keep up we're going to be talking about collagen in a little bit here. But yeah, does anybody else, Lisa or Noah, do you guys have want to chime in on plateaus or anything like that? Anything that you've experienced, seen with clients, customers, anything like that?
well, I think I want to add to what Angela said. It's like, throw the scale away.
Yeah.
With our program, it does not. I mean, you see more inches than you do, especially in the early terms, than you do weight wise. And we're, especially if people stick to the program, it's like, you got to drink enough water too. That's the biggest thing too.
Right.
Because otherwise, if they're not drinking enough water, they're not going to see that those inches go, or weight wise too.
Exactly. Well, and I think, another piece of the puzzle, like when you are on your journey, and no matter what that journey looks like, finding the things that are easy to habit stack and incorporate into your daily routine. There's so many little simple things that you can do that add up to different results. And just recently when we had Brennan on, he was talking about just making more alkaline choices. And so, what I've started doing since then is just putting a slice of lime in my water. I love lime water. And I'm like, why wasn't I doing that? Like, it helps alkalize it. It's so good for you. And I mean, we know even with our natural accelerator, like the good aspect of that vitamin C and that cinetrol and all of that stuff. So for little small changes like that, if you're at a plateau and you're like, I'm not seeing any differences, like, is there something small you can do that's not going to completely change up all of your routine or whatever, that just might make a little bit of a difference? And always like finding ways to document and watch what your body is doing in reaction to it. I had started going back on my Fitness Pal and tracking like my food intake, and I was so surprised last night at the end of the day, because I had kind of crafted my day while I was on the cruise, and then I inputted all of the brands that I had bought and things like that, and I'm like, why is my sodium so high? And Brad and I both bought salsas, and one salsa has like mango, it's Newman's Own, and I love the mango salsa. It's like my favorite. And then Brad's is like, I don't know, like Chipotle or something, like doesn't have any, fruit in it, I guess. I don't know that that's the difference, but mine was 400 grams of sodium and Brad's was like 160. And I was so surprised that salsa had such a high sodium content, and it was never anything that I ever noticed. And what do we eat with salsa? Chips. Chips are so high in sodium. And so if you've ever felt really bloated after eating at a Mexican restaurant or something like that with the bottomless chips and salsa, now you know. So if you're not measuring, if you're not watching what you're putting into your body, you have no idea what your fiber intake is, you have no idea what your protein intake is. Like, it can be a lot of work to track, but it can really give you a snapshot of an idea of what's going on. And so if you notice, especially if you are on some sort of a cyclic, if you're like, every month there is one day where I just feel like a busted can of biscuits, are you doing anything different that one day? Or is it potentially like your body's hormones and stuff changing? But I mean, every person is different. And I love that we're all on the board. Consistency is so important, and finding fun ways to make that mundane fun, and interesting. And how can this be more enjoyable to put this boring routine in place? I know I'm definitely somebody who I need routine, and I
One of those days.
need routine, but I need spontaneity. I'm like so polarized with that. So like I just bought a big jug of aloe. Did I freeze again?
Yeah.
Oh,
Twice in the last 2 minutes.
dang it. Could you hear me?
No.
Dang it. Well, I was saying I'm so worried now that I'm just going to keep freezing. Let me put myself on do not disturb. Sometimes that helps and sometimes it doesn't. I like routine and I like spontaneity. And so I have to marry the two to make things like consistent with me. And so right now I'm really excited about the routine that I built. I built it while I was on the cruise, and I really feel like it's going to be a good one. So stay tuned, because I'm going to try to share it as we go. So we're going to start moving over into collagen here. And so hopefully I don't freeze. So here is collagen. Onto our, dang it.
It keeps going back and forth.
Yeah. Because I have only part of my screen shared. And so, okay, should be able to see that now. So collagen, this is a huge one. And it's hard to talk about. I mean, we should do a full day talking about like clean beauty, clean, things for your body and things like that and bring up our collagen here. But when I talk about collagen, I always say that this is the most abundant protein in our body, and type 1 is 90% of all of the different types of collagen. And so as we age, after, around, for most people, age 25, we start losing that collagen. So if you think of it like a bucket and the bucket starts leaking, you have to not only pour more into the bucket, but you have to repair that bucket. And so that's what our collagen does. Now, it's not something that's going to like put a Band-Aid on it and, you're cured. You have to consistently put this into your body. And so for most people, it is a commitment. You want to be able to consistently take this and put it into your body to keep that bucket in good shape. So we've seen all different kinds of results. We've seen people talking about their joints, their gut health, their skin, of course, nails, hair, eyelashes, heels, like all different parts of their well-being. And so it's definitely like almost like it speaks for itself after you kind of educate what collagen is. And it's such a buzzword. So many people are taking collagen, the powdered kind, the kind they find at Costco, the blue bucket, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so really talking about why ours is just going to give you a better experience because it's liquid. You're going to absorb it better. Doesn't oxidize. And of course, it comes with this beautiful blend of biotin, vitamin C, aloe vera. Don't get me started on aloe vera. It's my favorite. Love aloe. So anybody want to talk about their experience? Anything I missed? Only, few minute commercial here. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's one of those products that, well, first of all, everybody's using collagen.
Mhm.
And but nobody, I swear, we probably were, if you were using a collagen, you were using a powdered collagen like everybody else and not seeing any results. And that's what's so exciting about this, is that the results are so quick and like so measurable. I mean, just with a simple before and after. It's funny though, I think sometimes people that I've gotten on it, they'll see my results and they're like, oh my gosh, that's so great. But if you don't take that before picture, it's not Botox, it's not going to freeze your face, but it is just so amazing what the little changes and how those little changes add up. I mean, I feel like people are just aging backwards on this product. And I mean, I even see, people are like you said, heels, the skin on my legs. So, I mean, I had a huge transformation of my face, but I also have crepey skin on my legs, on my thighs, and it's just genetic. My mom has it. My sister has it. I have seriously thought about getting like a leg lift. I'm not kidding. I'm like, is that such a thing? Because I can't stand it. But it totally got better. It was unbelievable. So
Yeah,
that was
those are the stories that like, people you don't think about so much because collagen, first of all, we are kind of advertising a little bit more feminine, so we have to like talk about why it's really great for men and athletes and things like that too. And then, it can feel like it's so superficial, but like when you really think about the deeper side of like our confidence, how we feel about ourselves, things like that. And we really try to talk about how it's for us. It's not for, what everybody else sees of us, but it's how we feel about our body. And for skin, like we all know grandparents that just tear their skin so easily, right? Like, have you guys ever gone to go and give your grandparent a hug and like, they're just bandaged up because their skin is just so thin at that point. And so you've got to keep that elasticity. We've got to keep that, the plumpness and everything else. And this is a great way to keep that going. So,
well, I was at a networking event last night and I was talking to this guy and we were talking about collagen and stuff. And he was talking about, he's in his 60s and he's like, I could start using it because I'm getting that turkey neck.
mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's not just that. It's like, I mean, I can't wait for them to come with the collagen and some of our skincare. It's great there. But I think it was at our Newport Beach event where they're talking about, talking about at some point having it turn into a body lotion.
Yeah. I mean, we see a lot of topical collagen stuff out there. Like if you guys go to Marshall's or whatever, there's a whole wall of all these different kinds of skincare, and there's so much collagen stuff. And I remember reading that like collagen is such a large molecule, it can't penetrate through the skin. And so that's why you've got to ingest it, and it comes from inside out. And so, it really isn't doing you a whole lot of good. Like, and then the same thing with the opposite with hyaluronic acid. You'll see some of these collagens that have hyaluronic acid in it that you ingest, but actually that is much better put on topically. And so when you kind of look at how our body permeates in different ways, like there's some things that are better ingested and some things that are better, put topically. So kind of learning about that and finding what works best for your skin type too is really important. So we could talk, I mean, we should probably do a full subject on, like I said, skin and like our different products and things like that. We're not like a skincare company, but we do have a few items that help with our skin because it has to do with our overall health and well-being. And so if your skin is not healthy, other things in your body aren't going to be healthy. And so really the assignment today, sometimes I feel like these are a little bit more of a like broader aspect, and you have to do with what feels right for you. But really looking at what is going on in your body that you feel like could make a change, and finding those small, slight changes. And so for me, while I was on the cruise, I wrote up this whole list of things that are going on in my body that I don't love, that I think could improve. And some of it had to do with like improving my sleep a little bit, or making sure that I'm exercising a little bit more. And I looked up different ways to make small, tiny changes to make bigger impact. And so that is just an inward look on yourself. You might not be in a plateau, which is totally like, not everybody has those, and you may not be there right now, but making those tiny little adjustments, those little changes to help improve yourself. We are in this business where we are so busy taking care of other people that we have to remember to take care of ourselves too. And so really kind of sit back and take that moment to see where you're at and lean on us and this community to find ways of making improvements. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to stop the recording.